Do me a favor, pick me up, take me out later. Don't worry about no paper, cause I got mine stacked up for nights like this. My life can get crazy, I deal with shit on the daily. But baby, I'm thinking maybe we could agree to work it out.
Hello and welcome back to Glamorous by Amaris channel. Welcome to everyone who is new and welcome back to everyone who has been joining me on this journey. Today I'm going to be showing you how to come up with a full beat, whatever face that you want to do, but it's going to last in the heat. That's right. The primer and the foundation and the setting and the eyeshadow and the brows and everything you want. And I promise you, if you invest in some of these products, your beat will stay beat even in the heat. If you want to learn how to come up with this summer slay face, really simple bronzy gold, but it is going to last in this weather, then you just keep on watching. Okay, so let's jump right in here. I'm going to start off with my Makeup Forever Step 1 primer. I think I use this in every video when I start my makeup. This is really good because it'll definitely keep our T-zone really matte, especially since it's hot outside today, and the whole purpose of this video is makeup that's not going to move around. So we are going to really focus that only on our T-zone area. Next, I'm going to take one of my new and probably favorite primers, and this is the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. This feels like lotion when you put it on your face, but I wore this before on a hot day and I was just so impressed by how even and the staying power of my makeup. So I took just one pump. I'm going to take probably a half a pump so I can really put it around my forehead and my neck as well, everywhere that I plan on wearing makeup today. At first I was so unsure about this primer because it does feel like a lotion. I was like, what is the purpose? But it has proved itself. It is tried and true. I am very, very oily, so for a primer to work this magnificently on the first try, I was sold. So get this baby at your local Sephora, especially if you're oily. And you still will get that luminous glow, so I absolutely love that about this. So I did my eyebrows off camera to save us a little bit of time here, but I'm going to go ahead and clean up my eyebrows. I'm going to use, of course, another tried and true, which is my MAC Conceal and Correct palette. I like to dip into the top two colors, obviously. You can see by looking at it. And I'm just going to go ahead and clean up my eyebrows. Now, the eyebrow pencil that I like to use is the Anastasia one. I find that since it is a drier formula, when you sweat throughout the day, it'll still last and stay. Definitely set it. I set it with the Anastasia brow gel as well, and that will make your eyebrows absolutely bulletproof. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. And after you get the shape that you want, go ahead and buff it away. I can't find the buffer that I normally use, so I'm going to go ahead and take this Morphe E45 and I'm just going to still buff it in. Same concept, different brush. Now, repeat the process on your other eyebrow. And the brush that I'm using is just a really small angled brush. This is a really old one from BH Cosmetics, but I find that using a small brush helps you really get that precise cleanup line that you're looking for. That's what I really like about it. So after I clean up the eyebrow, you can see I moved the concealer down like so. So I'm covering the whole brow bone area with the concealer. And then I'm going to go ahead and buff it away. Buff it in, I should say, not buff it away. Also with this concealer, I'm going to go ahead and use it as a eye primer. So I'm dipping into this color here and this color here, and I'm going to put that all over my eyes and buff that in, and that is going to act as a primer for our shadows. Next, we are going to move on to our foundation. Now, the foundation that I found works really, really well, especially when it's hot outside, is my Dior Air Flash. This is absolutely one of my favorites. Shake this baby up, and we are going to spray it on our face very carefully, and we are going to blend it on in. So with this foundation, I do work in pieces, obviously. So I started with the lower end of my face, and I'm going to buff that in first. And then I'm going to go back on the higher points of my face. I find that this applies best with a damp beauty sponge. You can use whatever's your favorite method though. Now this foundation is one of the more expensive ones that I have, but I really love, since it is light and it is a spray foundation, it really just sits on your face so beautifully throughout the day, no matter how hot it is. And I have wore this in some heat. Go ahead and do the top of our head. I'm going to carefully pat it onto my hairline, so when I take the scarf off it won't be two different colors. Just check and make sure our coverage is good. Now if you notice, I kind of left my under eyes alone for the most part, and that's because I'm going to go ahead and conceal underneath there, so I didn't need to waste product or layer too much. A lot of times when you find creasing under here really bad, or oil seeping through more quickly, it's because you're layering too much product underneath here, okay? And the layers start from everything. Mind you, I have a layer of moisturizer, I have a layer of eye cream, and then you don't want to put a layer of foundation, a layer of concealer, a layer of powder. That's just going to create creasing more so than you want. So keep that tip in mind. So today I'm going to be testing, this is a brand new product. Well, I got the little baby one as a sample, and this is the Lock-It foundation. This is the Lock-It concealer, brand new by Kat Von D. This one is in Cool M19. They only had 2 samples to choose from, and I felt that the deep one was a little bit too dark for me to use as a highlight. Now I don't have cool undertone, so if this doesn't work out, I will go in with something different, but let's just do one eye for now, just to test it out. Definitely light. Well, it's showing up a little lighter on camera than it is right on my face. First impression, this is definitely full coverage. Absolutely. It is highlighting and brightening, and it does take a little bit more work to buff it in, but the coverage is really good. When we set it down, it'll probably neutralize it a little bit more. If you ever feel that your concealer is just way too light or just not the right color you're looking for, just use whatever you use for your foundation and lightly go back and touch on top. Now this product definitely sets fast, so I'm going to move a little quicker to really work it in. And like I said, if you ever feel that you used a concealer that might have been the wrong shade or a little bit too light, just take the back of your beauty blender, since it already has that foundation on it, don't add any more product, and just lightly buff on top. And this will help cool it down and match your skin tone a little bit better. When you only highlight underneath your eyes, it's going to have that light effect, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't necessarily balance out your face. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of concealer down the bridge of our nose, our forehead, and our chin, so we have that balance of light to contour. Instead of using the full coverage one, I'm going to go right back into my MAC palette, and I'm going to take this color right here, which is still lighter, so it'll still add that highlighting effect, and the same brush that we used underneath our brows. I'm going to put a couple stripes on my chin, a stripe down my nose, and on the forehead. Take our beauty blender, and I'm going to utilize the side of the beauty blender and buff the concealer in. And that'll add a balance to our face, so you can see the lighter parts are in the center and across, so in the T-zone area. Really take your time when you're buffing product in and press versus just doing swirl motion, so it really presses that product into your skin. Everything that we do with cream product, cream or liquid product, we need to set with powder. So I'm going to go in with one of my favorite and very inexpensive powders, which is the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is in the shade Toffee. As you can see, I'm way into pan. I am working what is left in these corners here, and I'm going to just take one of my favorite brushes, which is the Morphe E49, and I'm going to just press it. Don't swipe it. If you swipe it, you're going to take away what you worked so hard on, but just press that powder into your skin. And this is going to set that concealer, and this powder is really light, so it's not going to leave your face looking really cakey at all. So we're going to put it down the center of our nose and up on our forehead, only the places where we put our concealer. Just for another layer of brightness, I'm going to go right into my Tarte palette, and this is the collab with Makeupshayla. And I'm going to take a little bit of that corrector palette just a little bit on the side of our brush here, and I'm only going to focus that directly underneath the eyes, nowhere else. This step is completely optional, but I just want another layer of brightness. To set the rest of our face, you want to use a color that's really close to your skin tone. So I'm going to take my Studio MAC Fix Powder Foundation, and this is NC45. I'm going to take a really big fluffy brush. I like to use a big fluffy brush when I'm setting the rest of my face and press the product in, just the same way that we pressed our highlighted product in. And the reason I use a fluffy brush is because it disperses the product evenly and lightly, and you can build it up so you won't look really cakey. Because we do want to set everything, obviously, especially since we're wearing this makeup on a hot summer day, but we don't want it to look cakey, because that's how it looks completely unnatural. We still want it to be flattering. Set down your neck, into your ears, and your hairline, so you're not 3 different colors. So another optional step, but I really do advise doing this, I'm taking my Laura Mercier translucent powder. I just have a little bit right in my cap here. I'm dipping the same Morphe E1 brush, or any big fluffy brush will do. Tap off the excess, and I'm just going to do a light layer just for an extra level of insurance, because this powder helps keep everything in for a really long time, so that's why I really like it. Moving on to contour, I'm going to take the same contour palette that's in my hand. Using just a lighter contour and a slanted brush, this is my Morphe E4, I'm just going to lightly contour my face. I like to do this after I set my face because I don't want to layer powders on top, so it kind of dulls the contour, if that makes any sense. I want it to still be prominent. And I really like using the slanted brush, a slanted fluffier brush, because I find that it makes a more natural contour versus using one that's really stark and square shaped, because I want to create a shadow versus just a line on my face. You can mix these 2 darker colors together on any areas that you want to be a little more contoured. So I prefer under my chin to be a little more contoured. Next, since highlighting, I'm going to take one of my favorites. This is the Cover FX in Candlelight. Now this product can be a little bit tricky. It is definitely a wonderful product, but a couple of females were asking me advice because they noticed that it does dry quickly, and it absolutely does. So what I like to do is take the dropper on the back of my hand, leave a couple drops, I dip my finger into it, and I just work that product wherever I'm trying to put it in with my finger. This helps keep the product warm, and you can work it in. I'm using the same tapping motions, as you notice, the same way I would if I had a brush in my hand. So I'm gonna do it on the tip of my nose. I have these Cover FX drops in a couple colors, but right now, since I am very tan, because it's so hot outside, this is the most flattering color, which is still really pretty because it's such a natural bronze color, and I use it as my base for the rest of the highlights that I want to do. To continue building up the highlight, I'm going to take my Morphe M501 brush, and I'm going to dip it right into this glow color right in the same Tarte palette. If you cannot tell, this has become one of my favorite palettes. I definitely did a whole tutorial on it in my last video, and I can have that linked below. It is so flattering. It's a perfect contour palette for women of color, and it's definitely one of my favorite Tarte products at the moment. So when I'm highlighting, I start on my cheeks, and then I just put it all the way back on the high points of the cheeks. So I start from the apples, and I move it all the way back. Also, I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit of the light color, and I'm going to focus it only on the tops. You can definitely stop here, but if you want a little bit of extra, which I do, I'm going to take my Artist Couture, and this is in the shade Conceited, and I'm going to lightly just top everything with this Diamond Glow powder. It's really pretty, especially in the summertime since it is so golden. Moving on to the eyes, I'm going to keep the eyes really simple today. You can kind of do whatever you want with your eyes. This is more so how to keep your face nice and fully beat in the heat. Nice and fully beat in the heat. That might be a title right there. And I'm going to go ahead and take my same toffee powder and just this brush by Flower. You can find this brush at Walmart. It's just a nice big fluffy brush. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight my brow bone with this powder. And I already had set my eyes with my face powder. I'm going to keep the eyes super simple today. I'm going to take my Morphe 35M palette. I'm going to kind of freestyle with the eyes a little bit. Let's go ahead and I'm going to mix two colors. So I'm going to mix this orange with this warm light brown right here for my crease, and I'm just taking my Morphe M433 brush, and that's going to add some nice warmth to my crease. So I'm going to use that as a nice first layer here. I always pull it out just a little bit because I like that elongated look that it does on your eyes. After that, I'm gonna mix these two colors, these warm brown colors, and I'm going to focus that right on my crease. And I want this to be more the crease color, and then I want that nice orange to kind of pop through. And you notice I'm using the same brush. When I build up my crease, I always use the same brush. This is really pretty together. I love my browns. I can tell you that much. I love my browns. When I feel that I got all the color off the brush, I'm just going to move it on up so I can blend both colors in together. Just like that. Perfect. I want a little bit of sparkle in this look. So I'm going to go into my Tartlette in Bloom palette. I definitely love this palette. And let's just take Firecracker, which is this beautiful warm brown. Pack that on. Definitely you could wet it for more intensity, but I kind of like how soft it is right now. Simple as that. And the brush I'm using, this is just a Urban Decay brush that came in, I believe, one of the Naked palettes, but I like that it's flat and synthetic because it pats on product really well. And right on our inner corners, let's take Funny Girl, just so we can have our inner corners be nice and open and illuminated. Let's take my same blending brush, just kind of go back over, just so we don't have the shimmer going into the crease too much. Okay, so I will be right back. I'm going to add some liner to this look. Off camera, I added my liner and just some mascara, and I just used my Too Faced Better Than Sex, my Maybelline Lash Sensational, and my MAC Gigablack. And for my liner, I used my NYC liquid liner, which is one of my favorites, which is somewhere in this pile. And you don't have to do that bold of a line. That's what I chose to do today. Now to finish up with my lips, I'm going to start with MAC Lip Pencil and Cork, and I'm going to line my lips. This is one of my favorites. It's such a pretty warm brown. I'm not going to fill in completely, but I'm going to fill in a lot. And in the center of my lips, I'm going to take Kylie lip color in King Kai, and this is a metallic matte. Start by patting it on the center. Take some makeup setting spray. And that completes our full face, and trust me, it is not going to move even though it is going to be hot outside, and that's because we used really good products like our Dior Air Flash and our primers, and we set it really well. So trust me, try it, and don't be afraid to slay. Even though it is hot outside in the summertime, you can still beat your face. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe before leaving here today. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye.